Yo, what's going on? Right now I am heading to London. I have an appointment with PEMF. PEMF specialises in post-electromagnetic field therapy. It's owned by someone by the name of Pete. I done a podcast with Pete a number of years ago, and we were speaking about how he had chronic illness and how he recovered to great health from using PEMF. That's what led him to his journey in setting up his own fitness center or clinic. He's got lots of powerful devices there, and I'm basically going there to experience it. I'm going to ask him lots of questions so that you can get to know the benefits of PEMF. I do have a mat at home, PEMF mat, but when you go to one of these facilities, centers, biohacking clinics, whatever you want to call it, they tend to be a lot more powerful, a lot more. So I'm looking forward to it. We're starting over here and going all the way to, where is it? There we are, Bank. Hey, what's going on? I'm on the bed right now. Pete, could you tell me what's going on here? My muscles are flicking slightly. I feel all right, doesn't feel painful, but I do feel the pulse going through my body. What's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Well, a pulse is going through your body, but it's, as we said before, it's not a pulse of electricity. We're converting electricity into electromagnetic energy. We're in the general sense, we're converting, this is a really sort of big nature machine where these are the kinds of frequencies and type of energy that the earth puts out. We've all heard of earthing and grounding. This is just earthing and grounding on a much bigger way. The frequencies that we're using, I'm just going to increase this slightly to a 5.5 hertz. We can actually see this is causing, first of all, is it comfortable?
It's comfy.
Good.
I've used EMS before, and it's very different. It's like you feel the muscle really contracting, whereas this, I just feel the muscle moving.
This is light. We're passing bioresonant light from the mattress in this case, but we have lots of different tools and accessories that we can apply the energy. It's passing freely through the body, and I can see, for instance, we can see this lower voltage on this side, the right side, pectoral area, than there is on the left side. So we would call that a hotspot, simply low cell voltage.
How does that happen? How does the low cell voltage happen in a person's body?
It's just wear and tear. You obviously work out a lot, breaking down tissue. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. This is, your body has to sequester cell voltage and energy in order to repair itself. Now technically, that's 50 millivolts. As we get older, it's called aging. It's Mother Nature's plan. Past a certain age, for most people, I think they say it's about 37, 38. If we're lucky, then it will be a slow, gradual decline. Well, what we're doing, using this wellness technology, I'm just going to increase the intensity slightly more.
Let's go.
Dan, this is comfortable, isn't it? To the viewer, it might not look comfortable. You can see this activity now on the deltoids, on the triceps here, the popping. We're also working on the autonomic nervous system. So your nervous system, your brain stem, your vagus nerve, they love these frequencies. And anyone in the wellness space knows that we're using 5.5 hertz here. So this is right in the middle of theta brainwave frequencies.
So isn't that when you, in a meditative state?
Exactly, that's exactly what it is. So I'm talking to you. I'm artificially keeping you out of going into a deep meditative dream sleep meditation because I'm talking to you and you're being very respectful and you're responding. But if I leave the room, this will really bring you down. And people often say a 40-minute session feels like 5 or 10 minutes. So the brain is and the nervous system is very receptive to electromagnetic fields, both the bad ones. We've all heard of EMFs, and there's lots of non-native ones, but this, although it's in a high quantity, the type of frequency and the type of energy is actually very, very bioresonance. So we had a client came in today, and she had an Oura ring, and she said that her HRV had increased 30%, and it had. She showed me the data. She's going to actually send that to me. And also her recovery score had shot up from the 80s up to 95 consistently since we saw her earlier in the week. She's in the functional medical scene, so she knows her body, she knows the science behind the readings from the Oura ring, but she was very surprised at those results alone, let alone other things that she noticed.
How is it I don't feel it in my head? I feel it in my muscles, but why isn't my head shaking?
That's a really good point. What we have here is enough of this light energy to actually fire the muscle. Now, because you have a lot of lean mass, Roger, more than, let's be honest, more than most people, and you also train, I think you said you had a very hard training session yesterday. So the combination of lots of lean mass and lots of muscle breakdown is going to mean that you're going to get a lot of movement as we are here. How much muscle do we have in the head? Not much at all. You've got a little bit on the back of the neck, that sort of occipital area up in the back. I think you did say you were feeling it a little bit in the traps, and it's very, very good for, especially with easing stressful necks and shoulders. But your head is predominantly skull. A lot of people will feel it in their teeth and their gums if they have gum disease, so they might feel it not in a bad way, but they'll feel it just pulsing away. If they have, say, a wisdom tooth, impacted wisdom tooth, again, what is it? It's an area of low cell voltage, and just as it's going more to your right side than your left, if you have a impacted wisdom tooth, you'll feel that energy going to that area of low cell voltage. It stores that, and then it uses it to repair the tissue.
That's amazing. And in preparation with getting on here, is there a certain amount you should hydrate first, or?
Yes. No, it does matter. It's actually very important, especially for the first few sessions for a client, because with high intensity PEMF, we get what I'm sure you've heard the term is an ion exchange. So that is good things going into the cell, in this case electrolytes and oxygen. Our PEMF source water has 74 trace minerals. So it's a very natural product. We actually gave you some molecular hydrogen as well, which is very synergistic. You have 2 of our 𝗪𝗂𝗋 sister company molecular hydrogen tabs. Anything that you take, there's an intracellular exchange. Good stuff is going into the cell, namely oxygen and the electrolytes from our water, the salts, let's call them. And because we're electrical, this is what's driving what is the source really of Krebs cycle. The mitochondria, which any school kid doing their GCSE or A-level biology will tell you, your mitochondria are the spark plug, the power plant within the cell, but you need cell voltage you need potential across the cell membrane. So this both improves the quality of the cell membrane, increasing the voltage across, supporting the mitochondria's ability to make more ATP, more adenosine triphosphate, and then recycle that. The back end of Krebs cycle is carbon dioxide, another waste product coming out of the cell. Early on, people typically get a mild, we try and mitigate that with lots of water and ask a client to drink more water later on, but it can just feel like being a little bit mucousy, or some people may get a mild headache. It's very, very rare with us because we're very careful just to dial in very sensible, comfortable levels. There's nothing dangerous about it, by the way, but we just say just support the process, have an early night, drink a reasonable amount of water, and listen to your body.
We spoke about hydration. What about with eating? First of all, does fasting complement it as well? Obviously, you get rid of dysfunctional cells with fasting. And the next thing is, should you not eat just before using it or sometime after?
It's a really good question. You're asking some great questions here, quite technical. Fasting to begin with, obviously depending I suppose on the stage of fasting, we know that there's a real place. Fasting personally for me has been really important, but so is feasting. This is synergistic with both feasting and fasting, let's just say that. You talk about before about the sort of autophagy, cellular cleansings. We don't eat for a certain amount of time. I think it's around 72 hours according to the experts. Then our body goes into a real spring clean autophagy, and it will consume excess proteins, senescent cells, zombie cells, whatever you want to call them. And we can see it. I saw it with me. I saw it with things like skin tags. They just disappear. That was metabolic syndrome in my case, and from what I know in others. But it is very supportive of that. So if your body's immune system function or ability to perform the process of autophagy has more energy, then we are purely providing the energy. Our logo is energizing life. People say, well, you really done that down. We don't mind. Are the results good? And that's what we are. We're happy if people's results are good. It supports all stages of fasting. Now, eating, which you talk about, let's say you consume, here's the thing, good or bad. So if you consume good molecules, you'll get better intracellular absorption of those. Now, we pulse the gut, and we can actually push and pull with this system through the gut, and I will show you how that looks and feels in a minute. So we're actually working directly, one with the whole bed, but also we're going to focus around the gut. Of course, really the gut's quite a large area. We're actually covering it right now because we're pulsing you head to toe, but you will get better absorption of any nutrients. It's also, of course, Roger, one of the biggest problems we have these days is, let's commonly call it leaky gut. I don't know anyone who has perfect gut health these days, because it's a constant challenge with what we're exposed to. But this helps, just as with any cell. What is your digestive tract made of? It's made of cells. They renew very quickly. 48 hours or so for mucous membrane cells, and very, very quickly. Within a few years you renew you, but things like your gut lining repairs very, very quickly within a few days. If those cells have more energy to renew, they will do a better job. They will absorb the nutrients better. And definitely we get people, we also, I'm just thinking of dogs we've worked with, and the keepers, their owners will say they started eating again and they're putting weight on. I love working with animals because there's no placebo.
Well, human beings, they're funny.
We're crazy.
I must say that I do slowly feel tired.
I'm going to leave you now to enjoy the energy, enjoy the frequencies, and just let you chill out to these theta frequencies and let you have some peace with it.
All right, nice.
Thanks, Roger.
Cheers.